Greetings. I am a Verde Valley School alumni known for my greatest passions, promoting self-sustainability and encouraging everyone on the planet, be they a farmer, a carpenter, businessman, or the president, to be accountable for themselves and for their own actions. Through this passion of mine, I've been fortunate to discover some of the most self-sufficient individuals and communities on the planet, Malawians. Natives of Malawi and of numerous other third world countries find themselves forced to depend on themselves for all of their needs every single day. They depend on their renewable resources, knowing that if they turn to non-renewable supplies, they will find themselves with empty hands and bellies. In my opinion, we have a lot to learn from these communities, but they also need our help. Unfortunately, many of the people who live in these places, while incredibly adapted to their environments, suffer from many different conditions. These are things such as HIV, AIDS, and malaria, poor maternal health, suppression of women, and the inability to provide their children with even a primary education. This has been my call to become involved. In the year 2000, the United Nations established a set of 8 goals known as the Millennium Development Goals. These goals, also known as the MDGs, which range from eradicating extreme poverty to halting the spread of HIV/AIDS and providing universal primary education, all by the target date of 2015, form a blueprint agreed to by all the world's countries and all the world's leading development institutions. These goals are aimed to help people, such as Malawians, to overcome these obstacles. A key element of the MDGs is that they involve communities as social actors rather than passive recipients of aid. They recognize that to accomplish these goals, the women must also work to empower themselves, that the parents must put forth the effort to send their children to school, and to accept technologies to help increase their crop yields. Malawi is ready to progress in a positive direction. However, they are not expecting or wanting to become like us, only to eradicate these problems. Fortunately, work is being done to help accomplish these goals, but there is still much to do. The goal of the MDGs is to be accomplished by the year 2015, so we are over the halfway point on our timeline, and only a dent has been made in the success of this goal. So little has been accomplished, mostly due to the lack of follow-through from countries that had initially pledged their agreement. Sparked by a $50,000 donation by the Dawson family of Sedona in 2005, the students of Verde Valley School formed an MDG committee of their own, adopting the following mission statement. The mission of the MDG Committee of VVS is to combat the issues recognized by the United Nations Millennium Development Goals. The goal of this committee is to take action by educating ourselves, increasing awareness, and conducting projects for communities in need, and respecting the relevance of the goals to our own school's values. By accomplishing this mission, we are doing our part to save the world one community at a time. This committee of concerned students and faculty began educating themselves and planned intensely to get the projects on their feet. Their efforts culminated with the adoption of a Malawian village by Verde Valley School students, 10 of whom traveled there for 3 weeks with 2 faculty members in the spring of 2007. Not wanting to deplete the financial gifts for travel expenses, the VVS students did fundraising projects and contributed their own funds so that the donation could be fully devoted to the projects. The projects completed included installation of a solar-powered lighting system for the local elementary school to permit after-dark study, distribution of mosquito nets to help combat malaria, stuccoing and painting classrooms, repairing beds in the maternity ward of a local health clinic, and distributing medical supplies to the clinic and educational supplies to schools. Due to the success of this group's efforts, the Verde Valley Schools MDG Committee has been awarded a pledge from the E.E. Ford Foundation to give $50,000 in the form of a matching grant, meaning that for every dollar we have donated to our committee for work in Malawi, the foundation will match it for up to $50,000. This grant provides critical funding for additional development projects, including irrigation, disease and hunger prevention, and general improvement of health and primary education. This past June, a second group consisting of 4 VVS students and 2 adults returned to Malawi. I had the privilege of being one of these students. Not only did we get to view the success of last year's projects, but we also continued to complete even more. On these visits to Malawi, we stayed in African villages, further educating ourselves and learning directly what it meant to grow up in what the U.S. designates a red or critically underdeveloped nation. As one might imagine, this proved to be a profound, life changing experience. I think it is important to note that although the United States is a leader as a country, in many other instances, the U.S. has not stepped up to the plate and fulfilled their commitment that we made 8 years ago with our allies. Each country committed to contributing 0.7% of their gross national income, and the U.S. hasn't come even close to that, nor have we submitted a progress report of our contributions. The countries receiving the bulk of foreign assistance from the U.S. in the fiscal year 2008 are those of greatest strategic interest, including Israel, Egypt, Afghanistan, and Pakistan, rather than the nations in greatest crisis or need, such as Malawi. I recently contacted our current presidential candidates, Barack Obama and John McCain's campaign offices, and asked their positions on the Millennium Development Goals. And here you can see their responses. Granted, this is not a major platform item, the lack of awareness of the MDGs is crystal clear. The number one way you can help is by educating yourself and others to heighten awareness of the international issues that inhabitants of third world countries are forced to live with every day. Then, send this message to Washington, challenging the United States, a leader in today's world, to make these goals a reality by upholding our nation's pledge to the MDGs. There are many admirable international organizations that seek financial support, such as WaterAid, the U.S. Peace Corps, Heifer International, and the Fistula Foundation, that are all committed and working to make the MDGs a reality. The bottom line is that there are so many buckets to be filled worldwide, as well as many ways of filling them. But if your passion is making your dollar count as two, and to have every penny of those dollars go directly to the beautiful people of Malawi, then VVS MDG Committee can make your passion a reality. If you choose to support financially, your tax-deductible donation will be matched dollar for dollar if sent to Verde Valley School's MDG project.